Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving straight into a fascinating concept straight out of the blueprint for the Faceless YouTube Empire. We're going to uncover exactly how some really savvy creators are building these massive, high-revenue digital assets entirely from behind the scenes. So if you've ever found yourself wondering how these highly profitable digital brands manage to grow exponentially without anyone ever stepping in front of a camera, well, you're absolutely in the right place. We're going to explore the strategies, the aesthetic choices, and the precise business systems that make the whole shebang possible. You know, we've all been pretty deeply conditioned to believe that you need this magnetic, over-the-top personality to make it on digital platforms today, right? We immediately think of vlogs, those daily life updates, and creators constantly talking directly into a camera lens. But what if that's actually completely backwards? Seriously, what if I told you that some of the highest performing, most lucrative documentary channels out there right now don't actually have a star at all? Today, we're learning how to monetize your ideas instead of your vanity. It's a massive paradigm shift in how we think about digital content.
Okay, let's take a quick look at our roadmap for this masterclass. We'll start with the personality myth, then explore why faceless is the future, break down the mechanics of quality, as well as systems and monetization, before wrapping the whole thing up with the final challenge. So buckle up, because you're about to learn a professional business blueprint.
Kicking things off with Section 1, the personality myth. For years, the baseline assumption was basically this: if you don't put your face out there, you simply can't compete. But this blueprint completely shatters that idea with a really powerful premise. It states, personality fades, but great content is forever. Just think about what that actually means for a second. Building a faceless channel isn't about hiding because you're shy. Not at all. It's entirely about institutionalizing your content. When you remove the individual from the equation, the content itself becomes this lasting brand rather than just a fleeting person. You're building a real asset that isn't tied to your physical aging, your daily mood, or whatever is going on in your personal life.
Moving right along to Section 2, why faceless is the future.
When you purposely take the human out of the frame, you kind of force the audience to change their entire perspective. You shift entirely away from creator-dependent growth. And let's be honest, that's an exhausting personality-led model that pretty much dies the second you need to take a break. Instead, you move into content-dependent growth. You're building an evergreen educational or financial documentary asset that literally works for you while you sleep, completely independent of your daily energy levels. You're basically replacing the subjective question of who is this person with the entirely objective question of what is this value?
What's truly fascinating in this blueprint is that it identifies three distinct drivers behind this entire movement. First up is privacy. You get to maintain your personal life without the stress of public scrutiny. Second is scalability. Because the channel isn't reliant on your actual physical presence, you can hire a team to produce content seamlessly. And third is global appeal. Without a specific face or cultural identity anchoring the video, your content can easily resonate with audiences all over the world. It's a total game changer.
Which brings us to Section 3, the mechanics of quality.
Now, when you don't have a human face, making eye contact and using micro-expressions to keep viewers hooked, your visual aesthetics absolutely have to carry your channel's entire identity. There is literally zero room for sloppy execution here. The blueprint is super clear on this point. Your branding is your face. Notice the recommendation here to use premium, high-contrast colors to maintain a powerful, professional feel. We're talking about utilizing these stark golds, bright yellows, and crisp whites set against deep, dark backgrounds. This specific, minimalist, high-contrast aesthetic signals authority and premium quality the absolute second the viewer clicks.
But look, premium visuals are really just the packaging, right? Your script becomes the actual heartbeat of the operation. You get to dive into these complex, elite narratives. We're talking investigating massive global supply chains, wild corporate scandals like Wirecard, or the deep underlying economics behind the FIFA World Cup. Because of this, your research has to be absolutely bulletproof. If you can master this level of elite storytelling, the audience is going to stay engaged from start to finish, completely regardless of who is behind the screen. It is just an incredible way to build pure authority.
All right, let's get into the business side. Section 4. Systems and monetization. A successful faceless channel is not a hobby. Let me repeat that. It is a professional production house built on a strict, institutionalized workflow. You're building a media company from the ground up. It starts with deep, rigorous research, moving seamlessly into meticulous scripting to ensure the narrative flows perfectly. That's followed by high-end branding and editing to match that premium aesthetic we just talked about. And finally, publishing.
You have to treat this digital media venture like a true entrepreneurial operation, literally mapping out every single step of the assembly line.
And here's the best part. When you run it like a real business, the monetization goes way, way beyond standard YouTube AdSense. For creators operating at the absolute highest level, like the Alimentor mentioned in the blueprint, it's brilliant. The goal becomes building a brand that can pivot. You use these highly engaging documentaries as a primary marketing arm to seamlessly drive traffic to your own high-end e-commerce ventures, like a home-crafted store. This allows you to scale your revenue exponentially, far beyond what ad payouts alone could ever offer. You transition from being a simple creator into being a true entrepreneur.
And finally, Section 5, the final challenge.
So, we've covered the why and the how, but we really need to talk about the harsh reality of executing this blueprint. Because, well, while the software and the platforms make it incredibly easy to start, the actual barrier to real success has never been higher. The difference between a failed channel and a massive faceless empire is simply the willingness to build a system that actually works. It isn't about luck, and it definitely isn't about some magical algorithm. It's about whether or not you are willing to embrace the unglamorous, everyday work of building and rigorously sticking to the professional systems we just outlined. Consistency and quality control are your ultimate keys here.
I want to leave you with a really provocative challenge, straight from the blueprint. If you could choose any complex, global topic to turn into a documentary, what would it be, and why does it need a deeper explanation? Just think about that for a second. Think about the massive value you could provide to the world by structuring that information beautifully, all without ever showing your face. I highly encourage you to apply this blueprint to whatever fascinating topic just popped into your head. Keep learning, keep building, and I'll catch you next time.